Well, hi everybody. Professor McLennan here again with this week's screencast. I'll probably end up doing two of these this week because as of right now, I have gone through your discussion forum posts and graded them all. You'll also note that I gave you audio feedback for those this week rather than typing it out. Please let me know how you like that. If that's a better way to get your feedback, if you find it more helpful or more engaging. Um, yeah, don't be afraid to reach out. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about this week um, in terms of the course and where we are in it and where we're going next. So next week, later in this week, I'll probably post another screencast as I grade your assignments. I haven't done those yet, but I will get to them very quickly and I'll be able to give you some more feedback. So one of the things I wanted to point out, something that started happening in the discussion forums, and I'd really like to address really at the outset, and hopefully we can work toward fixing this, is that most of you didn't actually discuss the German economy in a comparative context, which is to say, we actually read about two countries this week. We read about France and we read about Germany. And while the discussion question was framed in the terms of the German economy, one of the things I'd really like to hear from you now is how you relate the German experience to other experiences. So part of that is that um, part of that discussion that could have happened this week that really didn't, and kind of see it as a missed opportunity, is this idea of, well, what's the difference between the German and the French economy? The French economy is also a social democracy. It also tries to leverage a lot of the same programs that the German economy does, but it has done a decidedly less impressive job in that respect. So if actually we look at the French economy, the unemployment rate over 2015 to 2018 has been hovering around 10%. And actually, if we look long term, it's been that way for quite a long time. So even in 2008, at the height of the recession, the unemployment rate was better than it is now in France. And that long term, this has been a sort of consistent problem of high unemployment in the French economy. Another thing is that the French economy has not been able to create the same kind of wage growth as the German economy. So wage growth in France over the last few years has been struggling to keep up with 0.5%, let alone 1%. Over the last 10 years, it's been having the same problem, sort of ups and downs, not consistent growth. And over the long term, this has sort of been a persistent problem in France. So, and one of the effects of that has been that the French economy has a much higher debt to productivity ratio than Germany. So, whereas Germany has a public debt of around 64% of GDP, France has 97%. That's not a specifically high or disconcerting number. It's not a great number, but it's not a number that international economists would actually get all that worried about. Some other examples are the European Union. The UK holds, as you can see on the page, about 87.7%. I mean, it's not huge, but Germany has been able to keep it much lower. So one of the questions that comes up is, okay, so what's the difference? France and Germany both have social democracies. They both have similar institutions. They both have similar histories. Why is the German economy working and why isn't the French one? So putting those things in comparison is really important. And I think you should think about that as you're reading this week's chapter. Sorry. As you talk, do this week's chapter, which is about Japan, right? So you're going to get another perspective of a different economic system in Japan, but it is one that is corporatist. It's like Germany in the sense that there are lots of different actors involved in the policymaking process that make more rigorous regulations for the economy. But so, how do these different organizations work, and what are some of the differences between them that may account for strengths and weaknesses? So, as you work through this week, please keep that in mind. Start trying to draw relationships between cases, and I look forward to hearing from all of you on the discussion forums. Have a good week.